So we have some big news for the election here. I think this shows an interesting dynamic, if not a sad dynamic. Joe Biden is going to try to beat Trump at his own game. So take a look at this from the New York Post. Joe Biden finally makes up a nickname for Trump, President Tweety. President Tweety. So that's what this is. This is Biden saying, okay, I got to try to be like Trump here, and I got to beat him at his own game. And, you know, here's the problem. That's not possible. This is the Trump game. Trump has been given nicknames to people forever. And it's one of those things where we're so used to it, and it's so ingrained in everybody's mind that Trump just gets a pass for it in a way. I'm not saying that's fair, and I'm not saying that's right, but what I'm saying is that's what it is. That everybody, people who agree with Trump, disagree with Trump, somewhere in the middle, everybody's just like, oh yeah, it's Trump. It reminds me of, somebody once said that about the cartoon South Park, that they were like, it got to the point where there was enough outrage for enough time over enough episodes where at some point people were just like, what are you going to do with South Park? So they pushed their way through all the outrage and kept doing what it is they do. And so it just got written off as like, that's what they do. Like they're allowed to do something completely outrageous and completely, you know, allegedly offensive or whatever it may be, because that's what they do. That's who they are. And it's the same thing for Trump now. Every time he comes up with a nickname, it's like, you know, you look at it and you either laugh or you don't, but you never, there is no reaction anymore. There is no like, oh, he did a nickname. He did a nickname. Childish. Nobody says that anymore because we're so used to it. It is what it is. But for Biden, you never gave people nicknames. It's not a thing you do. This isn't in the Biden playbook. And I think the thing that's so frustrating about this is, bro, we know that took like you and 7 staffers sitting in a meeting a couple hours to figure out. That you were bouncing ideas back and forth, and you were what's going to play well in the media? Let's think of a nickname that's really going to make a splash. Somebody probably threw out some terrible ones, then eventually Biden probably brought up President Tweety, and everybody else thought it was whack, and he was like, this is it. I think I got it. Where am I? Like, that's what's so sad about this. Is like, and Biden has the entire media apparatus of CNN and MSNBC and all the non-Fox networks. They're at his disposal, and they're doing his bidding. And he's got all the king's horses and all the king's men hiding his cognitive decline. And even with all of that, there's still a question as to whether or not he's going to win the race. Even with the freaking economic depression, and even with a pandemic ripping through the country, there's still a question as to whether or not he's going to win the race. Why? Because of stuff like this. Because you see, they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. It's like, you know what this reminds me of? The Hillary Clinton, America is already great line. That's what this reminds me of. I know it seems like it's not connected, but both of those things, President Tweety and America's already great, shows a complete lack of standard political instincts. It shows in the case of Trump saying, hey, we're going to make America great again. What argument is he making? Hey, we got a lot of problems, and they're really bad, and I'm going to come in, I'm going to try to fix them. All right, so I'm going to try to make America great again. Hillary saying America's already great. What message does that send? She doesn't even realize it, but the message that sends is everything's actually already pretty good right now. So, you know, how dare you call my wonderful, beautiful country not already great? I'm so offended by that. And it's like, but people have problems, and they got bills to pay, and we got the infrastructure's crumbling, and we're fighting, 7 or 8 different wars right now. What do you mean America's already great? What does that mean? What does that mean? And so it shows, it's like, it's a reflexive anti-Trumpism in a way, where it's not intelligent, and it doesn't reflect the reality of the nature of the country. Biden saying President Tweety is just him trying to beat Trump at his own game, but why would you try to beat him at the Trump game instead of changing the game? I don't understand that. Why would you not want to change the game and say, hey, here's where I do better. So where does Biden do better? Biden's probably better when he's just, well, he can't really talk, so that's kind of out of the picture. But like, I don't know, maybe pointing out all of the flaws in the approach that Trump has taken to fight back against this pandemic. Pointing out how he dragged his feet, pointing out how the administration was lying early on, pointing out how they were briefly saying that masks don't work to stop the spread of the virus. You could point out something like that. You could point out the fact that this was a massive corporate bailout. The early COVID bills were massive corporate bailouts, $5 trillion, and Goldman Sachs lackey Steve Mnuchin gets to determine where it goes to which corporations with no oversight. There's a lot of there to attack that's substantive. But really, you get the sense that Biden doesn't really disagree with any of those things per se, and he would have probably had a similar response to the crisis. So he's letting that off the hook, and he's just like, I'll try to out-Trump Trump on his grounds. You're never going to beat the master at his own game. This is what he does. Nobody does like petty insults and vindictive rants better than Trump. That's what Trump is. He's made up of pettiness, and he has a vindictive nature. You're not going to out-petty him or out-vindictive him. Again, he's the nickname guy. You're not the nickname guy. So it's not going to work. So it's sad. But anyway, let me get to my main conclusion, because this is, I think, nobody else is saying this, and I sound like Trump. Nobody else is saying this. I'm the only one who's saying this. But it's true. Nobody else is saying this, and it's funny because I think it's actually pretty obvious that Biden's best play is to do nothing. Biden's best play is to do exactly what he did in the primary. Dog, go hide in your basement. And I'm not talking about go hide in your basement and use the studio you have down there to do interviews with people. Go hide in your basement and hide in your basement. Don't do any interviews. Send out surrogates. Let them do interviews for you. Every now and then you want to send out, a statement or like a policy paper. Hey, here's a problem and this is how I think it should be addressed, and then lay it out. Totally down with that. But hello, Biden staffers, it worked in the primary when you hit him. Biden won states he had no campaign offices in and he didn't show up in. The more you put Biden out there in public, he's got the Hillary Clinton effect going on, the more people dislike him. The more you show him, the more people are like, I don't know about all that, dog. With Hillary, it was like, damn, I just don't like her. I don't think she's fighting for the people, and, her record is terrible, and she's annoying. But with Biden, it's like, damn, he's got cognitive decline. So keep hiding him. What are you doing? The answer's in plain sight. It worked in the primary. It could work in the general. If this election truly is just a referendum on Trump and how Trump is handling this crisis, let it be that. Give him enough rope to hang himself. That very well could happen. Now, it's a little bit of a roll of the dice, but I honestly think you have a better chance doing that than anything else. I mean it. It's already the case that this crisis is helping Biden, because now we have a frickin' depression and now we have a pandemic. Those are things that factor in his favor because it works against the incumbent over, a certain period of time, okay? So those are already helping him. Then add that on top of the fact that Trump is a bomb thrower and people don't really want to bomb throw in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a national crisis. Go hide, bro. Go watch reruns of, whatever your favorite show is. Golden Girls. I don't know why I came up with Golden Girls there. But yeah, go watch your favorite show. Go relax. Go eat some popcorn and some ice cream. Chill out, dog. Biden has a very, very good chance of winning this election if he does Dickie McGee's acts. The President Tweety stuff does more harm than good. Because all you're going to get is wise asses like me to do segments like this where I say, shut up, idiot. You're not going to beat Trump at the freaking nickname game. It's not going to happen. So, since that's the case, you're going to get no points for your goofy speeches or interviews, and you can barely talk, and you're all over the place, and you have no coherent ideology, and every time I see you, I'm reminded of the Iraq War vote and the Wall Street deregulation and NAFTA and TPP. Like, shut up and go away. And what'll happen is people, at least the people who are Biden supporters by and large, the older generation, they will vote more on what their perception of Joe Biden is from like frickin' 2012 when he was debating Paul Ryan and obliterating him. So that's all you got to do, man. Biden's got the easiest path out of any campaign in history. He's already shown his strength is to do nothing and hide. So, okay, do nothing and hide. What are you waiting for? So anyway, I'm not kidding about that either. Some people might hear this segment and go, come on, Kyle, there's no way that you really believe it. Yes, I do. Of course that's what I believe. Let Trump keep talking. Let Trump hang himself. Let Trump keep bomb throwing when people want steady leadership. There's going to be a depression ripping through the country as it is right now, a pandemic ripping through the country. Trump is going to contradict himself 1,000 times. He's going to show poor leadership as he's done 1,000 times. Is it possible that Trump somehow stumbles across a coherent strategy that wins him this election? Yes. But it's also very possible he doesn't. And I know Biden's not doing any favors for himself by going out there and saying anything at all. Because every time he says anything, there's 1,000, Twitter clips showing that he's incoherent. And everybody's like, God damn, that's bad, son. So go hide. There's no downside to it. So anyway, that seriously is my advice. If I was running Biden's campaign, that's exactly what I would have him do. I wouldn't allow him on TV and let, because you know what happens, right? This happened the last time. The left, like the Bernie supporters, started screaming, "Where's Biden? Where's Biden?" Some Trump people started screaming, "Where's Biden? Where's Biden?" But okay, to which I respond, he's hiding. And what are you going to do about it? You're not going to do Dickie McGee's acts. You're going to sit there and you're going to take it. And guess what? Our boy's going to hang on to his lead. If you're on the Biden team, he's going to hang on to his lead. That's what's going to happen. So, doesn't matter. Let people make noise. But as long as you're hiding away, the numbers show you're doing all right, dog. So, I don't know. That's what I would say. I don't think they're going to take that path because it's weird. It's like corporate Democrats, in many respects, at least in the Biden campaign, they kind of accidentally did the right thing against the left and won. They beat Bernie. But in a general, for some reason, they become like a lot dumber. And they just walk into Republican traps, and the Republicans beat up on them all day, and they're useless, and they're all over the place. But if they just hide him, he's got a decent chance of winning this thing. So no more President Tweety, no more nicknames, no more silliness. Do yourself a favor and just go take a nap.